Right now, I'm a man that shoots pistols for competition. And bluing will come off with blood. The acidity in your blood will actually take that off, and that's exactly what this is. What up, guys? CP the Tool Addict. Woo! I hope you guys are having a great and fantastic summer so far. Want to thank all the new channel members. Once again, you guys are just ripping them in here. Subscribing. Loving it. I hope you guys are loving it. I always love sharing my information with you guys. I always try to help people out. That's the bottom line to this. I mean, this is fun to do with the right positive energy. And I just can't express enough the good feedback. When I get the good feedback, how great it is. But enough of me rambling on, kissing your guys' behinds. I want to talk about a couple things today, and there might be some saltiness in here, so just keep that in mind. I had a conversation with a subscriber, sent me an email, said to CP, first of all, asked me, what's the best swivel sockets? I get this question all the freaking time, all the time. I've done a video on this, I've talked about this till I'm blue in the face, and yet I still get this question, so maybe if I make another video, we're going to get this through, but I also have to talk about a unique swivel socket that several hundred of you have found to be absolutely, and we're going to talk about this because it makes a guy's brain rattle. But anyways, let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you CP's assortment of swivel sockets. This is my swivel socket El Extravaganza. Not quite all of them. I do have some 1/4 inches swivels over here. And I have some of these guys up here. Okay. Now, when it comes to basic swivel sockets, these are a mechanic's bread and butter. And I will tell you a couple reasons why, because you just never know what situation you're getting into. And you'll find a lot of mechanics that will use these religiously because it's easier to grab a deep swivel. And then you don't have to worry about finding the angle for the dangle. Now, if you notice here, I have a Cornwell swivel. And I want you to notice that the numbering on it and this blued finished. I'm not sure, I haven't actually looked into seeing what this is as far as what they call this finish. Focus in there, little fella. But this blued finish, or case hardened, might be like a color case hardening, I don't know what it is very durable. Unless you get, hold on, let me find her here. Where's my, yeah. Unless you cut your fingers and you get blood on your socket, which I'll tell you right now, I'm a man that shoots pistols for competition. And bluing will come off with blood. The acidity in your blood will actually take that off, and that's exactly what this is. I cut my hand one day, and it just stripped her raw. So, but if you notice, though, it's not really rusting, and it doesn't really affect it. It doesn't have any sharp edges. And I like the Cornwell sockets, okay? I like the Cornwell swivels because of that feature right there alone. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at some of my Mac sockets, which I do like my Mac ones, and you'll notice these are a little bit different too, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know, that's just this finish kind of isn't as nice for as much money as I pay for them. I guess I know what bluing is, and bluing's nice. Now that's pretty aesthetically. Okay, that's kind of aesthetics. As far as functionality goes, and these are really expensive, okay? And we're gonna try to cover all bases here on budget, yada yada yada. You know, the whole 9 yards, okay? Now I also have a set of ADVs. Now if you look at these look very familiar to being almost like sunex. And if you notice, these are kind of worn here on the edge because I kind of run my finger on them. I am not a huge fan of these collets because if you catch a burr in these collets here, and I don't have any here, but if you catch a burr in these collets and they kind of tear out a little bit, that can be a bad day for you. You know, they can really make your life kind of miserable. In fact, you think about it, because you're up there and you grab it and then that thing's spinning at 60 billion miles per hour, Well, now you're going to catch that in the finger, and your finger hole. Now, everybody talks about pinless sockets. Let me go back into grabbing this guy right here. If you notice this, yes, this is a Mac, okay? Now, Matco had their pinless out when these came out, and these are older, and I don't use these as much, but Mac has a different profile than Snap-on does in the shallow, and there's different depths and lengths. Guys, you really have to look and see what works for you the best. I like the Mac ones because the shallow, when I'm using the shallow, and the deep when I'm using the deep, but the reason why I like the shallow is because they get right on the cap of a nut, and they don't sink clear in, and I don't lose a nut clear down in the bottom when I'm using them if I'm just going for a nut. But they definitely don't give you much room for clearance if you've got a little bit of a stud raise when you're taking a bolt off, so that tends to be an issue. I do not like the pinless sockets. I've had these forever, and these things fly apart, and they will smack you in the teeth. In fact, I've been smoked in the head, and I have a cut. I don't know if I can show you, right above my eyebrow, where one of these came flying down, whizzing down a transmission tunnel, and because I had it on a 3/8 extension, half to 3/8 extension on my 1/2-inch gun, and then it just came whizzing down. With that being said, there's a multitude of swivels out there. In fact, you have double jointed ones. Now these, you'll notice too, are also pinless, but with these Koken ones, they're not really meant to go crazy with on an impact, so I think that's kind of because they're chrome. They're meant more for using them with a ratchet, and they do maintain keeping their stiffness. And that's another thing with a swivel socket. When a swivel socket is cheap, it'll get floppy donkey real quick on you. And that's kind of why I prefer the pin style sockets, or swivel sockets, such as, we'll just go right over here to the Mac one that I have. These pin style, because this is the newest one I got. I don't use this that much, to be honest with you. In fact, I don't think I've hardly ever used it. But it's a 1/2 to 3/8 adapter swivel. But the pin sockets have a retention spring. Now see if you can see in there. You can see down in there that spring. Kind of. You see that little spirally part right there? That's actually the spring inside of that socket. And it pushes up against that pin and keeps a little bit of tension on that, so that way that thing doesn't fall down. That's what really makes a swivel socket work fantastically. And if you notice here, my Cornwells are the same way. Now, pro grade sockets definitely hold up better to this, and I will tell you, because I've tried every cheap socket out there, and the pro grade ones just absolutely hold up better. They're stupid expensive. You can go, if you want to, with these guys, and I will tell you, there's a little trick you can do. I don't know if I got any of these done right now, but you can put an O-ring on these little angles here, and that'll help them. These are SKs. They do hold up better than the cheap ones. I will tell you once again, they hold up a little bit better. But this is, I don't like these because you can see right here. I'll give you that right there. Once you get them down like that, they're in a bind. They don't really move. See how that comes down in, and you're really putting it hard against. They really are only good for about an angle like that. Now, they are still nice to have for doing under dash work and stuff like that, where you just can't get some of these smaller 1/4-inch ones in, because they are longer. Let me see if I can pull one out here. So this is a 10mm, and let's pull a 10mm 1/4-inch one out in the chrome. If I can find the guy here. Looking in my, there it is. Never can find the 10mm, can you? So if you look side by side here, the 10mm versus a 10mm, you can see that there's a huge difference. So sometimes it is necessary to use a chrome swivel for that instances right there. Now, when it comes to 1/4-inch swivels, they are my bee's knees, and I absolutely love them. We're going to talk about some other ones that I really like, and these are Kokens. I honestly use these quite a bit because it's just one extension. I don't have to fiddle with them. These are absolutely some of the best ones right here, and I'll show you some more. I have a set of Steelmans in a 3/8 drive extension. I don't use those simply because they aren't, I just find that I can use these ones over the swivels. They're a little bit better. Steelmans were a deal when I got them too. Let me show them to you. One reason I don't really like them is if you see here, I have to keep them in an oil bath because they got this weird metal on them. Tried to wipe them off, and I just got nothing but red fur on them. But these are pinless, and they have popped apart. I have broken a few of them. 3/8 drive. They have a knurling down here. They're kind of nice. They're not terrible, but they're just not my favorite ones to use. They got a pretty decent angle on them, but when you get in hard, they start getting really chunky, and they start really being really stiff to use. And I do have one snap-on because it didn't come with an 8mm, and the snap-ons are really nice, but these things are stupid expensive. And you can see they still use the retaining ring, but the shafts on the snap-ons are really thin too, which I don't know, it makes a huge difference. This is a 10mm and that's an 8mm, but the shaft size are really small, and these are 3/8 drive extensions here. So, and they hold up pretty good. Another set to go on that I want to talk about for swivels is not these. I have a set of power drivers. These ones, yeah, use universal metric extensions. These power drivers I use quite a bit too. Now you say I got the Coke and CP. Well, these ones are 12-point. Sometimes they come in pretty handy, and they are pinless as also. You can see that those were a lot like the Steelman that I just showed you, because they're made in Taiwan, and it must be a common thing over there for Taiwan-made sockets to be pinless. But these are nice because you stick these. Let me show you. You stick these bad boys. I got my go-to deal here, but you stick these in here, and you can just swap them out pretty quick. You can get a pretty good angle on them, but they're pretty handy because they're quick and easy. You can switch out the whole set of them, and I do have those in the Torx too. Right here, the seven universal extensions in Torx, and I showed this in the Matco flyer the other day. I really like these. These are really super handy. I don't try to reef on them. I am a little bit nervous about giving these the beans because they are an extension. I'm worried about snapping them off, even though they are lifetime warranted. But you know, I just don't want to have a bad day doing something foolish. So, and to wrap this up in long and short here. Well, I've got everything just kind of strung out. My favorite sockets, I will tell you, are going to be probably the Cornwells. I do like the Max. They're probably a close second. That's what I told him in the comment. I said, look, my Max are probably my second. Now, some people will say that Wrights are good, and I have no experience with them. I do know that I have pinned Max sockets, and they work really well. All the new Max swivels are pinned, and they work really well. And not only that, like I said before, I like the Max sockets because they hold up, they don't rust. I've had really good luck with them, so I stick with those because I know they work. And I've had good luck with these ones too. Some of the pinned ones here. If I break one, I just switch it out with a pinned one. But nonetheless, that's probably, I like the Cornwells. They're really nice. They have a good broaching to them. If you see here, like I always say in a socket, so I can leave a nut up there and then the bolt can go through. The thing is, you want a nut to ride high on your socket so it's easier to put on, and it's just faster and efficient. Now, if I was going to have to buy a swivel socket, and I do have these ADVs, I have these in shallows and deeps, and I can only put this into this, and I can only say that I can only assume these are very similar to the Sunex, even though I know they're not. Sunex is not going to be as nice, aesthetically pleasing as these are, but they are good. They are good sockets, and I have no Sunex swivels at all. But I have the deep ADVs, and I can tell you that if I was going to get, if I wanted to save money, my first choice would be for a budget, would be the ADVs. So, with that being said, there is no middle of the road with swivel sockets, guys. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. There's only cheap and expensive. There's no middle of the road with swivel sockets. Unfortunately, that's the downfall. And the reason why I say that is because if you try to go to middle of the road, you're going to end up winding up with something with a collar on it like these. And I don't like these because they are usually aluminum or something, and these collars just absolutely suck. I've destroyed them, and look at how fat they are. They're literally so wide compared to the bottom of them. I mean, that's a 14 millimeter, and you look at a 14 millimeter in this socket and just see the difference right here in the width that you're paying for. And that really does hinder you a lot, because when you're trying to get in that spot and trying to sneak through somewhere, think about that. You're going to have that much extra girth to get in there. So that's why I say there's no middle of the road with swivel sockets. So that's kind of my long and shorts of this, and the best I can do, give you for my advice, you know, swivel sockets. It's a fickle thing. You just either got to spend the money, or you can kind of go with the Sunex, and you're going to have a decent variety of sockets and whatnot. The chromes are even worse. If you're going to try to just buy chromes, they get super floppy. The cheaper you get on them. They're just one of those things where you can't kind of skimp out. It's just how it is. So anyways, guys, that's the video for you. I'm going to stop blabbing on about this. I hope you enjoyed my swivel socket tutorial, my thoughts and everything like that. And I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Always need that thumbs up if you made it this far in the video. I don't know why it's so hard for people. Just come on, man, just give me a thumbs up. I spend all this time doing this. That's all I ask for. You don't have to spend any money. It's totally free. So anyways, guys, appreciate you watching. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.